All right. Today we're going to break down some Frederick Douglass quotes and see how they apply in today's woke culture. So without further ado, let's go. So we're going to jump into these quotes. And this one, the first one. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others. Rather to be false and to occur in my own abhorrence. And I say, look at today. If you speak truth, what happens? You probably get a bunch of negative comments on your social media platforms. If you're a celebrity, if you're Kanye, they say you crazy and they write you off. If you Ice Cube, they call you a coon or you a sellout. If they Wayne, they say you stupid and you never read your contracts anyway. If you Kwame Brown, they try to trash you and say you sensitive. No matter who you are, they try to put you in a box when you try to speak your truth. And I think all of us know we all come out of our mom as individuals. We all individually think differently. You know, your spirit and your energy on this earth is unique to you. No one else can be you. No one else can think your thoughts or move the way you move. But in our culture, it tries to put everybody in a group and make you think the same way and act the same way. And I won't even say in our culture, once again, it's our media. Because this so-called do it for the culture or this black culture that's been pushed all over TV, we don't own that. That's Chinese propaganda. Once you learn to read, you will forever be free. There's so many books that I could recommend that opened my mind and made me start looking at life differently, made me realize everything that I thought was 100% wrong. And I'm not saying in like some matrix perspective, I guess. If you want to go that perspective, you can say taking the red pill, but you can find books about black slaves that escaped and became millionaires. You can read stories about Frederick Douglass, about Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, Madam C.J. Walker. So if there was all these black successful people, why are you only putting on TV the negative, the slave movies, me getting beat, me getting shot by the police? But it ties back into this reading because I'm not going to put this positive information on the television. And I don't think that you're going to go read these books and really learn your own history and learn that no matter what has been thrown your way, that you've always overcome those obstacles and always been able to prever, and keep going. Then I can keep you in a negative state of mind that you really are a slave, that you can't be successful in America. When we know that anyone with the idea or a dream can be successful in America, anyone. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. I can say the way I used to think 5 years ago is 100% differently. 5 years ago, I consumed rap music on a daily basis. Now I haven't listened to rap music in a couple years. If you understand sound frequency, when you understand that Hitler experimented with sound frequency, when you look at all of the music artists that have came to talk about it, whether it's the Kanye Wests or the XX Extensions, do the research for yourself. You don't have to believe anybody else, but what do you think is happening when overall constantly all you're hearing is negative things? As a black man, all I'm hearing if I was to be tuned into music is to look at my peers, my brothers as negative people. I would be taught to look down on them, to murder them, to want to sleep with their women, to potentially murder their children. I would find no value in my brother. If I'm speaking from looking at the sisters in my community, I'm looking at them as just a physical body. I'm not understanding that that's a spirit inside of a body, and that young woman, regardless of what she's shaped like she's a person, and she has thoughts and she has feelings and she has emotions, and not understanding that she's just co-opted in this culture as we are. So as we're trying to fit this image of what we're socially programmed to think young black men should be, we got to step back and think so many of these girls are trying to fit this image being socially programmed of what young women should be, and it's creating a total disaster because nobody is being their true self. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any other class is made to feel that society is organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and denigrate them, neither person's will property will be safe. If we didn't see the riots all summer and buildings be burned and stuff, we don't understand like everything literally is repeating itself until we as people we as people realize the only thing that drives out hate is love. Martin Luther King tried to preach that, and I think a lot of messages can be misconstrued. Because I think if you were to sit down and talk to most people, it's like we understand that this person is trying to stop me from succeeding no matter what. Like we get these concepts. Is the concept to sit down and worry about what they're doing, what they're trying to stop me from doing, or should I be worried about creating no matter what? Like the more I'm focused on creating my own and establishing something, I don't really care what they're doing. They trying to come knock this down, yeah, but they don't know I got this plan. But they don't know I'm working on this. And you try to stop this, well, boom, I backdoor cut you and I got X, Y, and Z going. I think that's where we're getting caught up, is they're making us pay attention to the other side and what they're doing to us and how they're allegedly trying to stop us. And for me, it's all a conspiracy. I don't feel like there's any, you know, person, place, or thing that is stopping any young man from being successful today, nor a young woman. And I think it's funny that the gatekeepers are the one that share that message of you can't be successful because of this. But most of the time, the people that tell you you can't be successful, they are already millionaires, already living in a gated community, already have private security. So just something to ponder on a little bit. Without struggle, there can be no progress. Totally understand. I feel like we got to look at today's society. Like, if you come from less, you're gonna have to do more, and that's just it is what it is. You may not look at it as fair, but if you come from the bottom, you got to go up. This house that I'm in now, I love saying it. This house was a Section 8 house when my mom was alive, and now as a grown man, I own this house, and the houses in the neighborhood are selling for $300,000, $400,000. So I understand the struggle. I understand coming from the bottom. I understand, like, damn, man, this is hard. And I know it's like not to have lights in the house, to not be able to eat outside of going to school lunch. I know what it's like to really, really, really struggle and to have days to say, why me and why am I in this situation? And as a grown man, I can look back at my childhood and say, I wouldn't be the man I am without my childhood. As hard as it was, it made me tougher than so many people now, because most people are broken if Starbucks messes up on their coffee or something. You know what I mean? So when you come from the bottom, you have an appreciation for everything around you. People might get all People might not get all they work for in this world, but they must certainly work for all they get. My daddy used to always say, ain't no check about to just pop up in the mailbox. If you don't work, you don't eat. So my mindset was always working. To this day, I'm up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., creating content, or I'm working out, or I'm studying, or I'm trying to learn something better to always value myself as a human being, because you can't move forward in life without bettering yourself. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery. We're watching this play out, but I think we're watching this play out because the Hollywood gatekeepers don't realize they're hurting themselves. The white liberals who feel like they're on the side of pro-blackness and all of the white people who you see at the Black Lives Matter, I don't think they realize that they're a part of the misery. And one day is going to come for you. Like there is no there it's going to like virtually be impossible to look at a white person and say you're a good one, you're a bad one. You know, that's what we're creating in this world with all this tension. And we don't even see that happening. You get what I'm saying? So you could say, yeah, like, yeah, this white person is a part of the KKK, and this white person is pro Black Lives Matter, and they support our cause and all that. You could say that or whatever, right? And then you get in a situation. How do you look at them physically and know the difference when you're chanting the message? You know, pigs in the bacon, fried like bacon. How do you know that this cop doesn't like you when this cop supports you and really wants to help you? How do you know that when in your head you're programming to hate all of them because they look alike? We have to evolve past looking at color, and we have to learn to look at character. You can't see a person's soul, or you would look at life totally different. A lot of people that are your friends or in your life, you wouldn't be around them because they're dark. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. And this goes in to what went through with Mr. 45, Donald J. Trump. Everyone was so excited that he was banned off Twitter and banned off Instagram. And you were hearing the arguments that those are private companies so they can do what they want, knowing that through Congress, they're in a special category. There's a lot of things that you can look into that, but if the president in a sense could be wiped off the planet, what makes you any different? What happens when you have a disagreement with the government or when there's something that you don't like and you want to stand up and you want to speak out for your family and they say wipe them off? A lot of us don't study communism and we don't really understand how China handles things. There's a great article by Jason Whitlock that I would like everybody to read. I'll link it in the description box. And he just addresses these things about us being lied to and not understanding. Like, yeah, we're on the front of tearing America down. They're using us to steamroll, getting rid of capitalism and putting a great reset in. All right. But what happens when that full reset is complete and Black America and society didn't change at all? Like when Black America is in the exact same spot today, and when the Great Reset is done, as it was in 1960s, 1964 is when it started going down. But what happens when they're using us to force our cause through America, and it's not gotten anywhere for the masses, but they're using the masses to tear something down. So I want to know what happens then because we're not paying attention to how these things get handled and how much they're using us to tear each other apart. Like we're all Americans. This is our land. This is our country. This is our nation. My grandpa fought in multiple wars, as I'm sure most Black people did. So we not about to be punked out of nothing. If anything, we gonna snatch the flag as our American flag. We not getting rid of no flag. We taking it and it's ours, and we gonna represent it. There's a lot of things that we have to take ownership in to change our society, but putting our faith in the Democratic Party is the worst thing that we could do. Look through history. I want to say in 1924, was it 35 of the delegates of the Democratic Party were actually Klansmen. You can look that up. In 1868, the slogan of the Democrat Party was "This is the white man's country, let the white man rule." These are all factual things that you can look up. There was a civil rights bill written in 1870s that was done by a Republican president. Once again, these are all things you can look up. You can look up that Black people started voting Democrat in 1932. Factual. This party switch and a lot of knowledge that has been presented to us. We've been shamed, and we need to go back and study on our own and really understand what our ancestors went through. Fredrick Douglass is one of our ancestors, so we can go back and we can read his books and we can get his knowledge to see how it affects us in today's society and say that doesn't sound right and that's not right. But if we keep getting our knowledge from schools and from television and from entertainers, we're never going to advance, and we're going to keep repeating these cycles of thinking someone has their foot on our neck when we have to realize we're now free. So we have to step away from anything trying to point us in a negative direction. Your thoughts control your reality. So place those thoughts on somewhere you want to go. Don't focus on the negatives of life. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you can create, what you can do, what you can change, and watch the law of attraction bring more things into your life. It's time to step out of this box that they got us in. It's time to get more people to wake up and realize that you can be anything. I'm a kid that grew up in a homeless shelter, and now I realize that I have no limits in life outside of the limits that I place on myself. And there's so many kids that can do anything in this world, but no one has ever told them that. No one has ever told most children that you can grow up and be anything. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter your gender. None of those things matter on the route to accomplishing your dreams. Will there be obstacles? Will there be challenges? Of course. But that's what builds character. That's what builds strength. That's where you learn more things. You never take losses. You just learn. No losses, just lessons is what I tell my children. And if we put that message out there into the world, that we start telling young kids, I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. None of those things matter. I just know that you're here for a reason. There's something special inside of you that can make you change the world and create something great. And I want you to focus on that. I don't want you to focus on changing the world. I want you to focus on creating your greatest self, and that will change the world. Because so many people focus on changing the world. Meanwhile, they're just rotting away. They're not paying any attention to their self, and their health is getting worse. They're gaining weight. They're stressed out. You can't change the world until you become the best version of yourself. And that's what I want all my young activists to do. My young diehard kids that we in America and we've been treated wrong, and my young boys who and girls who didn't grow up without fathers or who grew up in homeless shelters or any of that stuff. If you come from some type of, or even if you didn't come from a struggle situation and you just came from a multi-million-dollar family, but you still just got unhappiness inside. Everybody has to realize that your story and what you went through in life can help someone else, the good or the bad. Lear learn to be the light in a dark place, and everyone, if they spread their story to the world and say, "Hey, I'm going through that too. I went through that too. Man, this is how I overcame." If we start talking to each other and spread more love and happiness, regardless of what political party you like, regardless of any like disconnect from all of these false worldly ideas that make us not realize that we're all just human beings. And let's move forward and let's progress to treat each other better and to have happiness on earth. Earth is a combination of our thoughts. And as you look at earth and you say it's negative now, well, I say that most people are having negative thoughts inside their head. So we can have more people think positively and act positive and put positive things out to the world. That energy is contagious. Look at some little kids when you go to a playground. They see a playground, they all take off running and they play. But as adults, we're hit with so much negative stuff and negative images throughout the day that all of those things wear on us subconsciously. So let's try to start paying attention to the images that come into our head, the thoughts we're having, and let's slowly. I don't even say slowly. Let's move forward and changing the way we think, changing the way we treat each other, and change the way we live. And that's quoting Tupac. And if we can do that individually, if each man can say, "I'm gonna be a better man today. I'm gonna eat healthier. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna be more respectful. I'm gonna change my language. I'm gonna change my habits." If every woman say, "I can change my habits. I'm gonna do this." If we all individually can take one step, 1% per day to get better, then we all collectively make our community better. And I think that's possible. So I'm going to leave it here for now. We're going to jump back in and hit some more comments later. Let me know what you think about the video. Until next time, YouTube, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, watch my other videos, spread love, spread positive vibes. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.